People aren't thinking critically. Why do I think that? Because they're only looking at one side of the story. They're only seeing one side of the story. They're not seeing the other side. They're seeing one side and they're making the judgment, and that's what they believe. It's like going into court and you say you're suing your employer, and the judge just listens to your employer talk about how bad you are, blah blah blah, and then doesn't give you a chance to talk, and then just sides with your employer. That's basically what people are doing. They're not thinking critically. They're not questioning things and looking at both sides of the story. They're just agreeing with whatever they see on TV. And that's why I think kids it needs to be illegal for kids to watch media, to watch TV, because they're just getting brainwashed. Okay, our prefrontal cortex shuts off whenever we watch something. And if you don't think critically, you're not going to question what you see. You're just going to allow it to come in. Our prefrontal cortex, which is our reason, our logic, our spirituality, all these things that are filters to the things we see. When you watch TV, that thing opens up and you don't think critically. You just allow it to come in. So it's very detrimental to kids, as shown by what's going on in the world today. All these people that aren't thinking critically, that just agree with whatever they see on TV, they were once kids. And they are now adults, and it's just getting worse and worse. And everything that's being pumped out, all these agendas that these kids are watching, and every movie, TV show, radio, billboards, everything, cartoons, there's so much propaganda in it. And these kids are just believing everything they see because they can't think critically. When you're young, you're not able to think critically. You don't have the life experience. You haven't been through as much. You don't know how life works. You don't have to support yourself. It's very difficult for a child to think critically. So when they watch these things, it just goes in and they're basically being brainwashed. And that's all done by design. It's like people want society a certain way, so they put all this stuff in TV shows, put all this stuff in movies, put all this stuff in cartoons and advertising and radio. Just turn on the TV, turn on the radio, turn on a cartoon, and just sit there and watch and see how crazy it is, how different it is than it was when we were kids. I mean, when we were kids, they were just innocent freaking entertainment. They just, did this and that, like normal things. Now they're doing all kind of weird things. I'm telling you, just go and watch. I do not think kids or people who don't think critically should be able to watch TV, because, like I said, it's making the world a horrible place. People are arguing like nonstop. They won't listen to the other side of the story. You try to tell them the other side of the story and they flip out. And it's like there's two sides to a story. You can't just take one side and make a judgment. That's not how life works. And that's what is going on right now. I don't know what to say. I mean, a lot of people now, they're homeschooling. They're trying to take their kids out of this situation because they know what's going on. They have parents who are critically thinking, and they don't want their kids to be brainwashed with all this stuff that they are trying to brainwash the kids with. And I mean, there's plenty of articles out there. They have, drag queen story hours where they're taking these kids to go see drag queens. They're taking these kids to, they're coming out to their students. They're like doing all this sexual stuff for kids, and let the kids be the kids. Let them be kids. I mean, when they grow up, it's going to be horrible because they're not going to, have a childhood. They're just going to be thinking about all this perversion that they were taught. It's like, let them have fun. Let them, enjoy life without being fed this message constantly down their throat. I mean, I think that would be horrible. Like, I'm really glad that stuff wasn't shoved down my throat when I was a kid. I couldn't imagine being in class or watching cartoons or movies and all this stuff was just, being forced down my throat. I just couldn't imagine. I think kids and become better adults when they're taught the right way, when they have good mentors. And with what's going on now, it doesn't seem like that's the direction it's going. A lot of people are going to these school board meetings and they're trying to let their voices be heard, but that's another thing that's happening. They're censoring people's voices, and people that just see one side of the story and believe it, they don't understand that what we're going towards is fascism, because fascism is when there's only one side to the story, when they don't allow any differing opinions. I mean, that allegedly that's what's happening in Ukraine. They silenced all other parties. I think they actually jailed different political parties. They don't. There's only like one TV channel or something that's allowed, or that say a certain opinion. Like, that's fascism. Both sides need to be able to have an equal airtime. Like, you have to be able to allow the opponents to have equal airtime. There's so many people out there who are against everything that's going on, but they're not allowing those people to have a voice. And that's fascism. And these people that are just believing it, they're not thinking critically. They don't understand what direction we're going in. They actually think the opposite. They think the people that are questioning and that are thinking critically are the ones who are communists. Like, they're so brainwashed, they think people who are trying to keep this republic, the freedom in this republic, as communists. All we're asking is to let people with an opposing opinion have equal airtime, because there's plenty of people who have an opposing opinion on what's going on, but they're not allowing it. They're censoring people on the internet. These fact checkers are just opinion checkers, apparently. When Facebook was taken to court, they said, oh, it's just their opinion. So why do you call them fact checkers if they're only giving their opinion? Doesn't make any sense. They want to trick the people into thinking that these are the arbiters of truth, when in fact they're only just giving their opinion. Okay, so this is going on. People are getting censored. The other side is not able to have the same amount of airtime. I mean, almost no airtime compared to the people who are going along with the agenda. So I really think people who don't think critically shouldn't be able to watch TV or movies. Kids who don't think critically shouldn't be able to watch TV or movies or radio or anything like that, because they just don't question, and it just leads us, it allows them to think that even though our freedoms are being taken away, they don't see that. They can't see that because they're not hearing any other opinion. According to them, everything is fine. Everything is great. Our freedoms aren't in jeopardy. These little things that they're doing, taking away freedoms here and there, they're actually kind of happy with. They're like, oh, well, they should do that. It's like, no, because then they could do it to you. It's like, then they could do it to anybody. They could take away anybody's freedom. And according to a lot of people, that's what they want. They want to have one world government. They want people on a social credit system. And if anybody disagrees, they can cut off your money. They could cut off your food. They could stop you from working. They already said they're putting kill switches in all the new cars. They could just cut off your car. Like, come on. That all these things should tell you. If all these things that they're doing, taking away freedoms, trying to create this social credit system, this pass, this vax pass, all these things, if that doesn't tell you that what they're doing is not good, then there's something wrong with you. You're brainwashed. You don't think critically. You don't question it. You're not looking at the other side of the story. Two sides to a story, and you're not looking at the other side. You're just looking at one side. So that's what I believe. Let me know what you think. You think people who don't think critically and kids should not be able to watch all this propaganda? I think you should.